Stravo Mystic members, Mystic Poet 82 here, and welcome back to my version of a Q&A called Wednesday Wonderings. So for those of you who are new and have not watched one of these yet, I have questions written down on little tickets and in this tin. I will pick 5 of them out, read them, answer if I have an answer, and then I want you guys, if you have an answer, to put 1 through 5 in the comments and give me your answer so we get to know each other a little bit better. Also, if you guys have other questions, even if you haven't seen like the previous videos I've done, throw them at me on Twitter, Discord, whatever. And if I haven't used them, I will add them for when this gets low enough to put in the other batch. If I have used them and it's one that, you know, you could give another answer, like favorite movies, like obviously it's hard to pick a favorite movie, so like you could have multiple answers for that. So that's one of those ones I could technically just chuck back in there and keep doing it, but I want to try to get through as many different ones as I can first. So, question number 1. Do you have a childhood dream that you still hold on to? Yes, I do. I would like to meet someone famous. Whether it's an actor, which at one point was Robin Williams. Unfortunately, that can't happen anymore, but I kind of changed as far as the actors go. Instead of just having one that I really want to meet, there are several that can be added on that list. So I've also decided that one of my favorite YouTubers or even one of my favorite Twitch streamers would satisfy enough for that childhood dream. Just someone I look up to and admire as a person. Question number 2. Have you and a friend had a funny word or phrase that you shared between you? The only thing I can think of, it wasn't a funny word or phrase, but I remember, was it 4th grade? I think it was 4th grade. My one friend, Tanisha, and I would do a goofy voice and go, "We're friends," and we would just do that back and forth, joking around. Now, as far as being older, we have a joke going on at work, and it's kind of through several people. At Walmart, they started this program, which didn't last, and you could go on the price scanner things with your badge, and it said your name, and it gave you your task for the night, and it gave how many hours it should take. And it started when I was regularly stocking the pet department, and the guy, my friend Mark, in chemicals next to me, and then Ben, who worked across the way in infants, would go back and forth and tell each other, "Check it," like meaning check your task. So it just kind of became a joke from there, and finally I was in the cat aisle and Mark was in the laundry soap aisle, and they're right next to each other. And we start talking and he goes, "Check it." And so I walked over to the dog aisle and I picked up one of the toys. And if you guys have ever seen them, they're called Silly Bums. So they look like an animal's butt. And it's like kind of like a plushie of an animal's butt. And I grabbed the baboon one because it's like 2 pink butt cheeks. And I put it up against my butt and I go, "Hey Mark, kiss it." And that whole thing with me saying "kiss it" now became part of the joke, and it still goes on even though Mark left because he went back home to take care of his parents. But we still keep it going. Every once in a while I'll text him, "Kiss it," and we'll just joke a little bit. But it's always hard to know when he's awake now because I don't think he's usually awake late at night like he used to be. Sometimes he is, but you just never know. So at least we still have fun with that. Okay, question number 3. Have you ever fallen asleep at the movies? Which one? This is embarrassing because yes, I have, and I should not have. But it was one of those work nights where I was completely beat, and I think it was something where I did overtime that Friday night, and we went to the movie that morning, and I just couldn't help it. I passed out, and it unfortunately was The Force Awakens. I was like, oh my god, I'm so mad at myself for doing that. That was terrible. But at least we went to see it several times, so the other times I was awake, so the part that I missed, and this was the first time we went to see it, when it first was out. So at least the other times I was able to see the part that I missed, and I'm like, damn it. So I'm not going to say what part I missed at first, but I was so mad at myself for doing it. I was like, why did I have to be so freaking tired? Like, all of a sudden just get tired and, like, fall asleep. And it was only for, like, a couple minutes, but it was enough to miss a good part of the movie. So I was just like, I can't let that happen during the next one. I cannot. And I quit working Friday nights as overtimes. So that won't happen again. Now I just do Saturday nights, because I know they're usually worse anyway. Question number 4. If you met a friend from online, hug or handshake? I would go hug, but because handshakes seem to be more awkward. But if they're not comfortable with that, that's fine. If I get to know you well enough and you're fine with that, then that's how it would go. For the last question, number 5. Do you like working alone or with other people? I would have to say both, and it all depends. Like, if I'm working with someone who, like, especially if I'm training someone for what I do, I want them to be open-minded, willing to learn it, and not act like they don't care. Because I've had to deal with both, and it's not fun when they act like they don't give a crap, because you're just like, why am I wasting my time teaching this person? But most of the time, I do prefer to work alone. I don't mind training people. I would just like them to have the I want to learn this attitude. And, you know, that they retain what they learned, so they're not asking me a million questions in the process. But, like, yeah, I don't mind working with someone as long as... First of all, I gotta be in a good mood, and there are times when I go into work not in the greatest of moods or not wanting to be around people. But there are times when I want to be social, which I think we all go through that, but personally, I am an independent person, and I do like to be. I like to be alone, I like to work alone. Because I feel like I'm more productive when I work alone. Like, I don't mind someone working in the same department, but like, if we're stocking and there's a lot of stuff, I don't mind us working in the same department, but I don't like us being in the same aisle, because then we end up too much crap in the aisle and then trip over each other. Like, that drives me nuts. I'd rather make sure I'm in a totally different aisle from that person, and we can knock it out a lot quicker instead of tripping over each other. So, that is all I have for today's. If you guys have answers, please answer them for me. It is fun to see what you guys come up with. If you don't, that's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday.